My thingy says it's recording. Hopefully this works. Hello. Hi. I'm Stephanie. I'm the artist behind Are the Cards, and this is my first time being on camera, so I'm a little nervous. Please bear with me. I've been asked a lot recently how I originally got into Yu-Gi-Oh, so I thought I would just hop on and share my story with you guys. It's probably pretty similar to some of your stories. For me, it started when I was a kid and anime aired, and it was time to duel, and I was like, yes, watching this, getting up for this on a Saturday morning. It was like on the WB, and Pokemon was 9 o'clock, Yu-Gi-Oh was 9:30, and it was like the best hour of my week. And back then, Wizards was still running tournaments, and there was a Hastings, about 20 minutes from my hometown, that hosted Pokemon League tournaments. And so when I could catch a ride from a friend's mom or my uncle or whomever, like I would go to that on Saturdays and play Pokemon. And one glorious day, when I was there at Hastings, they had starter deck Yugi and starter deck Kaiba, and I was like, that I need in my life. And I don't know who I managed to convince to get it for me, but I got them, and I was the happiest child on the planet. And then not too long after that, Pegasus and Joey came out, and I was able to convince someone to get me those too, and that was very exciting. So I had the decks, and every now and then I would get packs, but like wasn't made of money as a kid, obviously, and it's still not made of money. And that was my introduction. So like with people at the Pokemon League, I would play, and then I had one of my good friends from school. He and his brother were also into it, but then his younger brother conveniently decided he was more into Pokemon than Yu-Gi-Oh, and I had Pokemon cards, but not a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, so I was able to trade his brother for some more Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which is how I got a lot of my earlier collection, and I still have a lot of that to this day. So it was good, but that was pretty much my start with Yu-Gi-Oh was when I was in grade school, and then unfortunately it got out. I don't remember if like they saw me playing at recess with my friend or what, but like the boys didn't really care. Like they all liked Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and stuff, but the girls at my school that I was going to were a little more on the preppy side, and when they found out I liked Yu-Gi-Oh, they're like, "You like Yu-Gi-Oh? Isn't that a boys' game?" And I was like, I thought it was for everyone, but apparently I'm wrong. And anyway, eventually after some bullying, I kind of went into the closet with my nerdy stuff and didn't really broadcast anymore that I liked Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh because I was ashamed of it. Like I got bullied for it, and that's never a good feeling. So I still liked Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, and like went through the rest of school kind of as a closet nerd. Like I'd still get cards when I could, but I didn't really like play for a long time other than with like a couple of close friends. And after school, when I was a young adult, I actually found out that one of my friends from school really liked it, and we ended up being housemates for a while. And so we would play Pokemon, and then I'd start a new job, and one of my friends from work, he also was willing to play Pokemon with me, and I started playing Pokemon locally in my new town, and like moved states and all that between childhood and being a young adult. And one day I was playing Pokemon with my work friend, and he was like, "Well, if we were playing my game, I would win." And I was like, "Well, what's your game?" And he was like, "Yu-Gi-Oh!" And I was like, "I like Yu-Gi-Oh! We can play Yu-Gi-Oh! I haven't played in a long time, but we can play." So I went out and I got 3 Chaos Dragon structure decks, because that was the structure deck of the time, and put that together. And he was playing 6 Sams. Let me tell you, when I got burnt out playing against 6 Sams. But it was super fun back then, and he ended up building like Fire Fist and Bujin. I built agents, and then my housemate, like he was super into it too. And like when he was a kid, like he was actually in a place that had locals, and so he was like, "Oh, we should go to locals sometime." And I was like, "That sounds stressful." And he was like, "No, we should go." And I was like, "Okay." And we'd been playing on Dueling Network back then. It was like before Dueling Network was shut down. And so I was getting like a little more familiar with some of the current decks and how to actually play the game, but I was still very much a scrub. Like I was very casual. And my friend convinced me to go, and so we went to locals, and I was very nervous, and we got there, and there was like 2 tables of like stretched back through the room of people playing, and there was one other girl player, and I was so excited because I was like, oh my gosh, another girl. And because I've never had a girlfriend that played Yu-Gi-Oh before, and I was like super stoked. And we played, and I lost gloriously. And one, like, it was like this, maybe the second to last round, I actually got paired against the girl. And I was like, oh my gosh, we can be friends. We can be friends. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Don't be weird. And I was like trying to make small talk and stuff. And like, she was just focusing on destroying me with her constellars. And she didn't want to be friends. So that was fine. But it was still like, it was a good night. And like, lost all my rounds. I think I got like one game off of a guy playing shenanigans in an earlier round. But my friend and I ended up like playing against each other in the last round because we both didn't do very well. And so that was fun. Like we just played each other, like, okay, whatever, it's fine. And but like from that, we did make friends with some of the other people in the community and got to actually like start going, like getting more involved. And that group, they invited me to go with them to a regional one time. And I was like, I'll go see what that's about. Yeah, I'll ride along. And I didn't want to play. Like, I didn't feel ready for that. But I rode along, and I was trying to build harpies at the time. And like, I was just like super into Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, even before I started going to events and stuff, like, I absolutely loved Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. Like, my housemate and I would like stay up way too late watching that. Or like, there was a channel called like X Stevens, like back in the day, that did really funny duel skits, and just really enjoyed all that stuff. And but I ended up riding along with these folks to this regional, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. Like the energy, like it was the biggest gathering of Yu-Gi-Oh players I'd ever seen up to that point. Like it was like a triple digit number of players, and I was just like, wow, this is great. And so after that, like I was trying to build harpies at the time because I didn't have a current meta deck, or any form of relevant deck for that matter. And so I was trying to build harpies, and I went and I did some trading and stuff, but it was mostly just like get a feel for what the regional scene felt like. And after that, I was like, yeah, I think the next one I'm gonna try to play. So I did, and I played harpies, and I was at the bottom tables, and it was super great. But I did it. I played, and I feel like sometimes just like taking that first step and putting yourself out there is like the hardest part. And so from there, like I did start actually seeing someone in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, and kind of like was in that friend group for a bit. But I ended up, like, when Secret Forces came out, I'd been playing Harpies for a bit at that point, and because of how frequently I was playing, I was like, all right, if I'm gonna keep doing this, I need to actually like get a current deck, a deck that's like more modern. And with Secret Forces coming out, Ritual Beast was gonna be in that, Necroz, Yosenju, and like everyone was hyped for Necroz. Like that was anticipated to be like the deck of the format. They were right, because this was in Duelist Alliance era when like Burning Abyss was running around, Shadal, Clifford, like Satellar Knight, those were like the top decks. Yangzing, Sylvans were still doing things. And so I was like, well, I'll throw money at getting 2 boxes of Secret Forces. And if I'm lucky, I'll pull something and I can like flip it and get Yosenju's. Because there was no way I was going to be able to afford Necroz. And that's what I did. And I got super lucky with both my boxes. I pulled a couple of the Necroz money cards, was able to sell them, make back my investment on the boxes and then some. And like from the boxes and then with the extra money, I was able to build my entire Yosenju core. And that was super great. So I was playing that then for like the rest of that tournament season up until Nats. And I was playing it at locals and regionals. We had like a Tuesday night locals and a Saturday locals. And I was playing it mostly on Tuesdays, but every now and then on Saturdays. And when we got, I did take it to regionals, and like, I was doing a lot better with it than I was doing with Harpies, but I was like on the bubble multiple back-to-back regionals. And that was super hard because like, you try not to get discouraged. You're like, I can't afford a meta deck, but this is super fun to play. And you just like hope that you can like be one of the ones to top, because there were people who were getting their invite with Yosenju. Like it was possible. I knew it was possible. So I kept trying. And like one time it was like the cutoff for your invite was like 35th, like, and I got 38th. It was that close, and it was just like, just keep trying. You'll get it one of these days. But I ended up riding along. I didn't have my invite that year, but I ended up riding along with that group of friends to nationals. We also went to YCS Dallas in that time frame, and to YCS Chicago. And I can't remember if Nats was in Chicago or if Nats was in Nashville, but one of them was Nats, and the other one was a YCS. And we went to that, and we went to those, and we went to YCS Dallas. And at Dallas, one of our friends actually got he topped. Like, I don't remember if he got like third or fifth, but he topped the event with Shadal, and that was a really big deal for our local community because like it'd been a long time since we'd had someone do that. So that was really cool. And when we went to Nats, I didn't have my invite, but I did participate in an LCQ, and I got to the last round and played the top deck game, just hoping to draw the app. Didn't happen, but it was fun. It was that close, and like at the end of it, there was like 20 people standing around watching, and I was like, this is fine. I'm not nervous. It's fine. But anyway, after that, I was like, well, this has been a ton of fun, even if I am not winning a lot. And I think this is something I actually want to like do. You know what I mean? Like do it well. Like Yosenju was kind of my first step with that. And then when like Klee got hit by the ban list in that time frame as well, and then the tins came out, so suddenly Klee was very affordable, and I was really familiar with that deck. So I decided to go ahead and pick up Klee, and for the next regional that we went to, I got my invite. I did it with Klee. It felt so good, and like it was the first time I'd ever gotten my invite. So, and I wasn't playing Turbo Towers. A lot of people were playing Turbo Towers at that point. I was doing more of a control variant, but it was super fun. It was like lose one turn shenanigans, and yeah, it was really good. I was doing Art of the Card stuff at that time as well. Like I'd started that the previous fall, so it'd been almost a year at that point that I've been doing Art of the Card stuff. I'd originally started it on Facebook, and then I, not too long after that, started it on Instagram. And that was back when Instagram, like it was before they got bought out by Facebook, and the algorithm was chronological and much better, or the feed was chronological and the algorithm was better. But so I was trying to juggle like full-time job, relationship, playing Yu-Gi-Oh 3+ nights a week, and doing Art of the Cards on the side. And it was kind of a lot. So the next regional that we went to after I got my top, I was doing really well again, but I didn't realize how well, because I actually got top 8 in that regional. It happened. I should have had my mat out for this. But yeah, I got my top 8 mat. It felt so good. Like I did not think, like it's really crazy how much just like having a certain deck can make a difference. Like I wouldn't, Yugioh is not pay to win, but it helps. That's all. But it was super fun. Like I was really proud of myself. And again, the deck wasn't like, it was on its way out at that point. Like it had been hit by the ban list. It was super cheap. It was good. It was a good time. But after that, I was kind of like on the fence about if I wanted to keep going to regionals because I had a lot of other stuff on my plate. We were going into the holidays. Magispector came out, and I wanted to play that deck. I really like decks that let me play Lightning Chidori. It's my favorite card. And so I decided to pick that up. And then I actually picked up Draco Slayer stuff for my Magispector deck. So when Pepe came out, I was like, that looks fun. I really liked pendulum decks. I know that they're kind of unpopular, but I really enjoy pendulum decks. So like I played Klee, I played Magispector, and then when Pepe came out, I was like, I'm gonna build Pepe. And that was like a really big step for me because it was the first time I decided to financially invest in a meta deck when the meta deck was like new and relevant. And I don't know if you've ever done that before, but it was an investment. You know, it was an investment up front, and I finished putting it together. Like all my stuff came in on a Sunday. Like I actually finished assembling the deck. And then I played it at locals on Tuesday, and it was super fun. And on Wednesday, there was an emergency ban list, and my deck got wrecked. And that was not fun at all, and established a whole new line of trust issues with Konami. So that was great. So I never actually got to use the actual only like meta deck that I invested in an actual like tournament. That was cool. And I don't feel like, maybe this is just my memory being a little faulty, but like I'm pretty sure that deck, like the pieces for it like, I don't think it was relevant for more than 3 months. And it was like really dominant, but I don't feel like it compared to what happened with Tier Element this past year. Like, that deck was wrecking YCSs across the board way more for longer. I'm just saying. It anyway, but yeah, and then after that, kind of decided to take a step back for a little bit from competitive play. I had my invite. I didn't know what I wanted to play next, and then kind of shortly after that, went through a breakup, and so it was just kind of like, I'm just gonna stop going to locals for a bit. And like some of my friends from locals, like we would still get together and play, and that was wonderful. But like I stopped actually going to locals and focused more on my Art of the Card stuff, and like really started pouring more into that and into just collecting and playing casually with friends again. Because like I feel like that's something when you start playing competitively, you can actually forget how to just like play goofy decks for fun. And when speed duels came out, that was actually really good for me because it reminded me like, oh yeah, this can just be goofy and fun, and it's really great. And also my mom learned how to play speed duels with me, so points to mom because she's awesome. But yeah, so that was a time, and like I think the hardest part of that season was giving up going to Nats that year because I had worked so hard for my invite, but like there was just no way that was going to work out. So that really sucked, but you move on. And then I just like really like invested more in doing like the online Yu-Gi-Oh community. I really appreciated the Instagram Yu-Gi-Oh community. Made a lot of friends through there. Did like Secret Santa and trading and just the whole shebang. And um, and I also really enjoyed like Yu-Gi tubers. Like even though I wasn't playing like I used to, it was a nice way to kind of just like keep up on what was happening in the format and as like the game was changing. And then Lynx came out, and I was like, people complain about pendulums, but they're completely changing the game for Lynx so that you can't play anything else. Cool. Those trust issues just kept building up. But anyway, so eventually they fixed that. But yeah, that was kind of a season there where I just didn't play for a while other than casually with friends. And when we did play, like they normally would play like old formats with me. So it was good, but it was also like I missed the community, like playing in person, and I missed like going to events and trading and like all that fun stuff that comes with it. And so eventually, so my favorite animal for many years has been a snowy owl, and my partner's favorite animal is a penguin, and we've been together for like 3.5 years at this point. And he, they announced Fluanderies, and I was like, you telling me they're making an archetype where the two boss monsters are a snowy owl and a penguin? I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play that deck. I love birds, so when they were making a whole archetype just around like and travel, I love birds. I love travel. So when they were making an archetype about birds traveling the world and like they're flying to see a snowy owl to a penguin, I was like, yeah, I'm all about this. This is great. So I do play decks based on the artwork as much as the play style. Like good artwork will suck me right in, but um, but yeah, so like when Burst of Destiny came out, we ended up going to the premiere event and we got packs and we brought them back, and I think we streamed opening them on Instagram. And I pulled Ecclesia, I think. I pulled one of the secrets from the set from my packs, and I was able to sell that and make back our money from the entry, and then picked up Flu. And then Advent came out eventually, and I've just been playing Flu since then, and it's been a ton of fun. Like the decks had to evolve, but it's been fun. And yeah, like I was still really struggling with like getting back into locals. It's something I never really I still wanted to do that, like I missed the community and I missed like seeing people every week. And my partner was super supportive through all of that. And one of my friends, actually, one of my artist friends, was like, "Hey, have you heard about such and such, like the new game shop that opened?" And I was like, "No, I hadn't heard of them." And she's like, "You should go check them out." And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "The owners are super nice." And I was like, okay. And so I went and we checked them out, and she was totally right. The owners are amazing. They've done a fantastic job creating a space where like people can just come and hang out and feel safe doing what they love to do. And I really have to applaud them for that. So we started last it was Black Friday last year that my partner and I got up the courage, and he was super supportive to like go back to locals because I'd been kind of putting it off for a hot minute. And I'm so glad we went. It was so much fun. And like some of the people that were there were people I had stayed in touch with over the years, like still friends. And some of them were completely new, like had started playing since I had stopped playing, like out in public, and it was just really great to go back and be part of that again. And so yeah, so since then we've been going as we're able, and it's been a ton of fun. And like people just kind of groan now when they have to face my birds. I apologize for nothing. I love my birds. But yeah, it's been really fun. And like the first time I got to play the Flumier was really crazy, and I won it, and I was so freaking proud of myself because I had no idea what I was doing. And and Master Duel came out. I guess that was kind of part of all of this too. Like Master Duel came out, and so that was like a fun way to start playing again. But I definitely I would definitely enjoy playing in person with actual physical cards. Way better. Like it's just not the same. Like Master Duel's great, and like my partner, he's very much into Master Duel, and like his ability to play and like understand card interactions and stuff has grown so much since he started playing that I think it's a really great resource. Like if you don't have a local community to play with, play Master Duel. It's a really good way to learn the game better. I dislike that they don't have like a TCG format option for players here that want to like learn card interactions and stuff better, that don't involve Maxi or cards that are only legal in the OCG. Like I wish they had an option for that. Maybe someday, but even so, like if you enjoy video games and want to play and don't have a local community to get plugged into, you should try Master Duel. But anyway, that's basically my story. I'm sure there's details in there I left out, but I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure that there are probably parts that are similar to your story. I would love to hear your story in the comments if you are willing to share. If your story is very different, I definitely want to hear your story about how you got into Yu-Gi-Oh, what you love about this game. And if you enjoyed this format, the on-camera thing, please let me know, because if you guys enjoy this, I can try doing more. It's definitely outside my normal comfort zone, but it's good to grow, right? Anyway, thanks all for watching, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Bye!